Hi, my name is Jennifer Acosta, and I am going to be presenting today the topic about teaching methods. So, the teaching method that I chose was the grammar translation teaching method. And what this is basically, which I'm going to point to my first bullet point, which is the goal. So the grammar translation is we're going to have an example, a language starting with English, but it has to translate to a different language, such as Spanish, which is what we're going to do in this lesson today, is translate words from English to Spanish. Just a little bit of background about some of the roles within the grammar translation teaching method. I'm going to start with the teacher roles, which is actually authoritative and traditional. And some of the characteristics are that it includes memorizing, vocabulary, translation, and grammar that is written. So we're going to start with the lesson plan. As you can see, the name is myself, Miss Jennifer Acosta. I chose first grade level. The subject is language arts. And the standards is listed there as LAFS .1.L3.5. So I'm going to continue with the lesson plan. For the objective, it says, after reading Brown Bear, What Do You See? Students will learn how to read and translate words from English to Spanish. So that is the objective for today's lesson. We're going to read a story, and then the students are going to translate the words eventually throughout the day from English to Spanish. There's going to be a few materials. I've listed down 5 picture cards, then a noun worksheet, pencils, and erasers, just in case the students do mess up on the assignment. For the class content, it is whole group and individual group. As we continue, for the whole group, I would like to explain and repeat some of the items from English to Spanish until the student understands the lesson. For example, I would say examples such as kitchen. I would actually walk to the item. So I would walk to the kitchen and point that that's a kitchen, but in Spanish you say cocina. And then I would walk to the bathroom and point to the bathroom. Bathroom is in English, but in Spanish you say it as baño. And then I would walk to a chair and point that this in English is called chair, but in Spanish is called silla. And then I would walk to the computer. And then I would point to the computer and say that is computer in English, but you say computadora in Spanish. And then I would walk to the door and say that this is door in English, but in Spanish is puerta. I feel that if I walk to the objects or items, it would get a better understanding for the students to better grasp the information and to make it more clear, of course. Then, after we make sure that they understand that segment, I would pick a student and then have them say the words to me back in Spanish. For example, I would say one of the items that I mentioned, and then I would have that student say it back to me in Spanish. For example, I would say, Sarah, what is door in Spanish? And then Sarah would say it back to me in Spanish while I say it in English. And that's going to be the same for each other student in the class. For the individual, the class will work by themselves on the now worksheet. The worksheet is going to consist of the animals that have been discussed in the story. In the assignment, the first words are going to be listed in English, and the second line is going to be blank so that the students can then fill it out in Spanish. Lastly, for the activity closure and assessment. For the activity, the students will work independently on the worksheet. As I mentioned before, they're going to say the words in Spanish next to the words in English. For the closure, towards the end of the day, I would explain the reason for why we did the activity, and then I would pick a student and ask that student what they learned today, or I would ask the whole class what they learned, one by one, of course. And then lastly, for the assessment, for their homework, I would provide at least 10 sentences in English so that the students can then write the 10 sentences that translate to Spanish, so that for the next day, all they would have to do is bring it in class so that we can go over some of the sentences that they wrote down together.